Hare Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 3, Chapter 6, Verse 20. Gudam pumso vinirpinnam mitro lokesha avishat पायुनांशेन येनासौ विसर्गं प्रतिपद्यते.
Hare Krishna. The evacuating channel separately became manifest, and the director named Mitra entered into it with partial organs of evacuation. Thus, the living entities are able to pass stolen units.
हस्तावस्य विनिर्पिन्नाव इन्द्रस्वर्पतिराविशत् वार्तयांशेन पुरुषो यया वृत्तिं प्रपद्यते.
Please, could you scroll up? Oh, sorry. Thereafter, when the hands of the gigantic form separately became manifested, Indra, the ruler of the heavenly planets, entered into them, and thus the living entity is able to transact business for his livelihood.
पादावस्य विनिर्भिन्नौ लोकेशो विष्णुराविशत् गत्या स्वांशेन पुरुषो यया प्राप्यं प्रपद्यते.
Thereafter, the legs of the gigantic form separately became manifest, and the demigod named Vishnu, not the personality of Godhead, entered with partial movement. This helps the living entity move to his destination.
बुद्धिं चास्य विनिर्भिन्नां वागीशो धिष्ण्यमाविशत् बोधेनांशेन बोद्धव्यं प्रतिपत्तिर्यतो भवेत्.
When the intelligence of the gigantic form separately became manifest, Brahma, the lord of the Vedas, entered into it with the partial power of understanding, and thus an object of understanding is experienced by the living entities.
हृदयं चास्य निर्भिन्नं चन्द्रमा धिष्ण्यमाविशत् मनसांशेन येनासौ विक्रियां प्रतिपद्यते.
After that, the heart of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered the moon demigod with partial mental activity. Thus, the living entity can conduct his mental speculations.
आत्मानं चास्य निर्भिन्नम् अभिमानो विशत्पदं कर्मणांशेन येनासौ कर्तव्यं प्रतिपद्यते.
Thereafter, the materialistic ego of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered Rudra, the controller of false ego, with his own partial activities by which the living entity transacts his objective actions.
सत्वं चास्य विनिर्भिन्नं महान् धिष्ण्यम् उपाविशत् चित्तेनांशेन येनासौ विज्ञानं प्रतिपद्यते.
Thereafter, when his consciousness separately manifested itself, the total energy, Mahatattva, entered with his conscious part. Thus, the living entity is able to conceive specific knowledge.
तीक्ष्णोऽस्य द्योर्धरापद्भ्यां खम्नाभेर् गुणानां वृत्तयो येषु प्रतीयन्ते सुरादयः.
Thereafter, from the head of the gigantic form, the heavenly planets were manifested, and from his legs, the earthly planets, and from his abdomen, the sky separately manifested themselves. Within them, the demigods and others were manifested in terms of the modes of material nature.
आत्यन्तिकेन सत्त्वेन दिवं देवाः प्रपेदिरे धरां रजः स्वभावेन पणयो ये च ताननु.
The demigods, qualified by the super-excellent quality of the mode of goodness, are situated in the heavenly planets, whereas the human beings, because of their nature in the mode of passion, live on the earth in company with their subordinates.
तार्तीयेन स्वभावेन भगवन्नाभिमाश्रिताः उभयोरन्तरं व्योम ये रुद्रपार्षदां गणाः.
Living entities, who are associates of Rudra, develop in the third mode of material nature, or ignorance. They are situated in the sky between the earthly planets and the heavenly planets.
मुखतो वर्तत ब्रह्म पुरुषस्य कुरुद्वः यस्तुन्मुखात्वाद् वर्णानां मुख्यो भूद्ब्राह्मणो गुरुः.
O chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom became manifested from the mouth of the Virat, the gigantic form. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called Brahmanas, and they are the natural teachers and spiritual masters of all the orders of society.
बाहुभ्यो वर्तत क्षत्रं क्षत्रियस्तद् अनुव्रतः यो जातस्त्रायते वर्णान् पौरुषः कण्टकक्षतात्.
Thereafter, the power of protection was generated from the arms of the gigantic Virat form, and in relation to such power, the Kshatriyas also came into existence by following the Kshatriya principle of protecting society from the disturbance of thieves and miscreants.
विशो वर्तन्त तस्योर्वोर्लोकवृत्तिकरैर्विभुः वैश्यस्तद् उद्भवो वार्तां नृणां यः समवर्तयत्.
The means of livelihood of all persons, namely production of grains and their distribution to the prajas, was generated from the thighs of the Lord's gigantic form. The mercantile men who take charge of such execution are called Vaishyas.
पद्भ्यां भगवतो जज्ञे शुश्रूषा धर्मसिद्धये तस्यां जातः पुरा शूद्रो यद्वृत्त्या तुष्यते हरिः.
Thereafter, service was manifested from the legs of the personality of Godhead for the sake of perfecting the religious function. Situated on the legs are the Sudras, who satisfied the Lord by service.
एते वर्णा स्वधर्मेण यजन्ति स्वगुरुं हरिं श्रद्धया विशुद्ध्यर्थं यज्ञाता सह वृत्तिभिः.
All these different social divisions are born, with their occupational duties and living conditions, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, for unconditional life and self-realization, one has to worship the Supreme Lord under the direction of the spiritual master.
एतच्छत्रभगवतो दैवकर्मात्मरूपिणः कः श्रद्धयाद उपाकर्तुं योगमायाबलोदयम्.
O Vidura, who can estimate or measure the transcendental time, work, and potency of the gigantic form manifested by the internal potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
तथापि कीर्तयाम्यङ्गा यथामति यथा श्रुतं कीर्तिं हरे स्वां सत्कर्तुं गिरम् अन्याभिधासतिम्.
In spite of my ability, whatever I have been able to hear from the spiritual master, and whatever I could assimilate, I am now describing in glorification of the Lord by pure speech, for otherwise my power of speaking would remain unchaste.
एकान्तलाभं वचसोऽनुपुंसां शुश्लोकमौलेर्गुणवादमाहुः श्रुतेश्च विद्वाद्विरूपाकृतायां कथा सुधायाम् उपसम्प्रयोगम्.
The highest perfectional gain of humanity is to engage in discussions of the activities and glories of the pious actor. Such activities are so nicely arranged in writing by the greatly learned sages that the actual purpose of the ear is served just by being
आत्मनो वसितो वत्स महिमा कविनादिना संवत्सरसहस्रान्ते धिया योगविपक्कया.
O my son, the original poet Brahma, after mature meditation for 1,000 celestial years, could know only that the glories of the Supreme Soul are inconceivable.
अतो भगवतो माया मायिनामपि मोहिनी यत्स्वयं चास्मवर्त्मात्मा न वेद किम् उतापरे.
The wonderful potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is bewildering even to the jugglers. That potency is unknown even to the self-sufficient Lord, so it is certainly unknown to us.
यतो प्राप्य न्यवर्तन्त वाचाश्च मनसा सह अहं चान्य इमे देवास्तस्मै भगवते नमः.
Words, mind, and ego, with their respective controlling demigods, have failed to achieve success in knowing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we simply have to offer our respectful obeisances unto him as a matter of sanity. Thank you for this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sorry for any mistakes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Devi Gaurangi Mataji and Urpita Mataji. Very beautiful and divine recitations. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, all the devotees, for kindly joining this evening to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so we shall move into our Mangalacharan prayers and then we'll enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशान्। हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये शृणुतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्त्वह्य भद्राणि विदुनोतु सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी एते चांशकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकधन्यं स्वस्तये नमः कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामेषा पुराणार्कोऽधिनोदितः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिहुं चिन्तिदुःखं पाण्डुषु विष्णुषु त्वयिमेनन्यविषया मतिर्मदिपते सत्कृत् प्रतिमुद्वहत दद्ध गङ्गेवभूदन्वति श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सर्क विष्णु ऋषभावनिधृक् राजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्घवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विज सुराट्य हरावतार योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गसङ्गस्य मत्येनं किमुत शिशः पुनश्च भूयात् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गश तदाश्रयेषु महस्त्वयाम्यामुप्यामि सृष्टिं मैत्रस्य सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवम् हरे कृष्ण Okay, so thank you so much for waiting. I shall share my screen. Okay, so we have been discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto. Third canto is the status quo, and then this is the Vishwarupa Srishti, the universal form. We have been on the 31st verse now, starting 31st verse, 31st verse. So this is the four varnas in the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, Sudra. So these have been discussing here from verse 30 to 33. So 30th verse, it has covered about the Brahmanas. So Krishna has created a Chaturvanyamaya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagashah. Though Krishna has created Tasya Kartaram Apimam Vidya Akartaram Avyayam. Though Krishna has created, but he is out of the loop of this Varnashrama. He is beyond it. And all this is for Atopumbid Vijasreshta Varnashrami Vibhagashah Swanistasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. This is created for the pleasure of the Hari. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. When everyone are engaged in their duties, then Lord will be very pleased. So in the 30th shloka, so this is the Maitreya Rishi is speaking to Vidura. So this is and all about the Virat Rupa form. So Virat Rupa form is the imaginary form. So this is in the beginning. Sutta Goswami has described that Etad Rupam Bhagavato hi Arupasya Chidatmanha Maya Guner Virichitam Mahadad Viratmani. This is Maya Guner Virichitam. It is the imaginary form, but actually the Lord has got a transcendental form. So here in this Virat Rupa form, so just bringing that Virata form as a pictorial representation. So this is the Virata form. So in his Virata form here in his face, from the face, the Brahmanas are created, and from the shoulders, the Kshatriyas are created, and from the thighs, Vaishyas are created, and then from the legs, the Sudras are created, along with their principles. Okay, so this one we are going to see. Brahmanas are created from the face. That is that shloka starting from, just to recap. Mukato avartata brahma purushasya kurudvaha yestu unmukatvad varnanam मुख्य अभूत ब्राह्मणो गुरुः मुख्य वर्णान ब्राह्मण अभूत मुख्य अभूत ब्राह्मणो गुरुः. The brahmanas, the leading varna is the brahmana, so they have been generated from the face of the Lord. Mukataha avartata brahma. So again, this is a Brahma Asurjas Vumukato Yushmanatma Parichaya Chandomaya Tapovidya Yoga Yuktan Alampatan. When the Brahmanas are created, so this again, Swayambhumanu also mentions, just giving an indication that Brahma Asurjas Vumukato Yushmanatma Parichaya Chandomaya Tapovidya Yoga Yuktan Alampatan. In order to expand the Vedic literatures, the Brahma he himself expanded in the form of Brahmanas. And that Brahmanas are coming from Mukataha, from the face of the Virata form, the gigantic form of the Lord. So the war chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom became manifested from the mouth of the Virat, the gigantic form. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called Brahmanas, and they are natural teachers and spiritual masters of all orders of the society. So that was discussed. Though Brahmanas are the teachers and masters, but here when it comes to the Guru, again here Shatkarma Nipuno Vipro Mantra Tantra Visharadaha Avaishnava Guru Nasyad Vaishnavaha Swapacho Guruhu. But who has got the Vaishnava qualities, then only he can become a guru. Though one is a Brahmana with all the Shatkarma, the 6 different kinds of activities, Nipuno, he is the perfect. Mantra Tantra Visharadaha, know so many mantras and tantras. But if he is not Vaishnava, then a Vaishnava Guru Nasyad, he cannot become a guru. So that is the Brahmanas. We are going to enter into the Kshatriyas. So today the Maitreya Rishi is speaking to Vidura about the Kshatriyas and the principle of Kshatriya. So here he mentions that the first is the quality of the Kshatriyas. It is generated from the shoulders of the Lord, Virat Rupa, from the arms of the Lord. And along with that, the Kshatriya principle, Kshatriyas are also created. So there one is the quality and another one is the persons. Okay, so we shall recite the verse. Bahyubhyo avartata kshatram kshatriyah tad anuvratah yojatah trayate varnan purushah kantaka kshatad. Bahyubhyo avartata kshatram. So from the arms of the Lord, avartata kshatram, they are the power of protection. This is the quality of kshatriya. Avartata kshatram, that quality, the power of protection was created. Avartata kshatram. Kshatriyah tad anuvratah. And in relation to the power of protection, Kshatriyas tad anuvratah, people are also created who follow that power of protection, Kshatriyas. Kshatriyah tad anuvratah. Yojatah trayate varnan. And this Kshatriyas trayate varnan, what they do? They protect the other varnas, all the varnas, varnashrama dharma, varnan. This is the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. They protect all the people. So here varnan is the other occupations. Purushaha Kantakakshatat. Paurushaha Kantakakshatat, because they are representative of the personality of Godhead. And Kantaka Kshatat, of the disturbing elements like the thieves and debauches, Kshatat, from the mischief. So they protect from the thieves and debauches from the society. In the society, they protect all the citizens. बाहुभ्यो आवर्तत क्षत्रं क्षत्रियः तद् अनुरतः यो जातः त्रायते वर्णन् पौरुषः कंटकक्षतात्. So translation for this verse. Thereafter, the power of protection was generated from the arms of the gigantic Virata form, and in relation to such power, the Kshatriyas also came into existence by following the Kshatriya principle of protecting society from the disturbance of thieves and miscreants. So this is the quality of the Kshatriyas. So there again, the Kshatriya, the kings who has got that protecting capacity, the principle of protecting. So he works like in capacity of Indra. So all kinds of the demigods. He is the representative, and also he is representative of the Vishnu as well. Nonam Chankaramaneva, Nonam Chankaranam Sat. So this Kadma Prajapati mentions that the Kshatriyas wander in the kingdom. So in order to understand how the people are living and if there are any disturbing elements to punish them. Nonam Chankaramanam Deva Satam Samrakshanaite Vadam Cha Astam Yastum Harehe Siktirhi Palini. He is the Harehe Siktirhi Palini. So he is protecting the sattvas, the devotees, and also punishing the miscreants. Yoarka Indu Agni Indra Vayunam Yamadharma Prachetasam Rupanistan Adaste Tasmai Suklayate Namaha. So he represents all these demigods. Yo Arka Indu Agni Indra Vayunam Yamadharma Prachetasam. All the demigods, the Dikpalakas. And also Sukla, Tasmai Suklai Namaha. So he is the representative of the Vishnu. Okay, so we shall see what Prabhupada has described here in the purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the Brahmanas are recognized by their particular qualification of inclination towards the transcendental knowledge of Vedic wisdom, so also the Kshatriyas are recognized by the power to protect society from the disturbing elements of thieves and miscreants. The word anuvrataha is significant. A person who follows the Kshatriya principles by protecting society from thieves and miscreants is called a Kshatriya, not the one who is simply born a Kshatriya. The conception of the caste system is always based on quality and not on the qualification of birth, but is an extraneous consideration. It is not the main feature of the orders and divisions. In the Bhagavad Gita 18.41 to 44, the qualifications of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are specifically mentioned. And it is understood that all such qualifications are needed before one can be designated as belonging to a particular group. And here, Lord Vishnu is always mentioned as the Purusha in all Vedic scriptures. Sometimes the living entities are also mentioned as Purushas. Although they are essentially Purusha Shakti or Parashakti or Paraprakriti, the superior energy of the Purusha, illusioned by the external potency of the Purusha, the Lord, the living entities falsely think of themselves as the Purusha, although they actually have no qualifications. The Lord has the power to protect. Of the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, the first has the power to create, and the second has the power to protect, and the third has the power to destroy. The word Purusha is significant in this verse because the Kshatriyas are expected to represent the Purusha, Lord, in the giving protection to the Prajas, or all those who are born in the land and water. Protection is therefore meant for both man and the animals. In modern society, the prajas are not protected from the hands of thieves and miscreants. The modern democratic state, which has no kshatriyas, is government of the Vaishyas and Sudras, and not of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas as formerly. Maharaj Yudhishthira and his grandson Maharaja Parikshit were typical Kshatriya kings, for they gave protection to all men and animals. When the personification of Kali attempted to kill a cow, Maharaja Parikshit at once prepared himself to kill the miscreant, and the personification of Kali was banished from his kingdom. That is the sign of Purusha, or the representative of Lord Vishnu. According to Vedic civilization, a qualified Kshatriya monarch is given the respect of the Lord because he represents the Lord by giving protection to the prajas. Modern elected presidents cannot even give protection from theft cases, and therefore one has to take protection from an insurance company. The problems of modern society are due to the lack of qualified Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and over influence of the Vaishyas and Sudras by so-called general franchise. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so here let us go and see. In this purport, Srila Prabhupada is initially mentioning Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. So as Brahmanas are created by Brahma, and in order to protect the Brahmanas and the Brahmanic, the Varna, so Kshatriyas are created. Which is Brahma Asurya Sumukto Yushmanatma Paripsaya Chendomaya Tapovidya Yoga Yuktan Alampatan Tatranaya Asurya Tasman Doho Sahsarat Sahasarpat Pradayam Hitasya Brahma Kshatramangam Prachakshate Tatranaya Asurya Tasman. So in order to protect the Brahmanas, Tatranaya Asurya Tasman Doho Sahsarat Sahasarpat, and from the shoulder arms of the Lord, these Kshatriyas are created. That is the main purpose of the Kshatriyas. That's why Hrudayam Tasya Brahma Kshatramangam Prachakshate. And Brahmanas are also called heart of the Brahma. And Kshatramangam Prachakshate. And Kshatriyas, they are the arms of the Lord. So this is the qualities, and here Kshatriyas are recognized by the power to protect society from the disturbing elements of thieves and miscreants. And here Anurataha is the is significant, because who follow the Kshatriya Dharma? So the Kshatriya Dharma means they have to have courage to fight. And sometimes we also have got in our society, if there is something is happening, some disturbing things, at the time we also feel I am getting very angry. That is a quality, but we are working in like a Sudra activity. But actually this Kshatriya people, they have to be created in the society with the dharma. But at the moment, the society is so fallen that these Vaishyas and Sudras are dominating the society. But anyway, so as long as we have got Krishna consciousness, which will bring out these Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, and Vaishyas and Sudras in serving attitude, so to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then automatically this Varnashrama Dharma, it is always protected by the Lord. We should not worry about it. Though we worry about that the Dharma is getting declined, but Lord is always protecting it. It is working according to the time, place, and circumstances. We are in the age of Kali. So now gradually it will decline. Dharma will. This is Twamaksharam Paramam Veditavyam Twamasya Visvasya Paramnidhanam Tvam Avyasha Syashvata Dharma Gopta Sanatanas Tvam Purusho Matomi. So Arjuna prays to the Supreme Krishna in the 11th chapter. So he mentions the you are protecting the Sanatana Dharma. Sanatanastum Purusho Matomi. Tvam Aviha Shashvata Dharma Gopta. You are protecting Dharma from behind. So we do not have to worry about anything. But it is happening according to the time, place, and circumstances. Nowadays, many people they are following against the Vedic injunctions. Separate religions are coming against the Vedic injunctions. So this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also mentioning. So you are killing a cow, you are killing the bull and eating it. What kind of religion you are? Then this question by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Kazi. Kazi said that we are following our rule, our scripture, and then there it is mentioned there are two ways in the Quran as well. One is the Pravritti Marga, another one is the Nivritti Marga. In the Nivritti Marga, all kinds of killing is completely uh, banished. But in the Pravritti Marga, it is allowed. And further, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that In the Vedas also, it is mentioned that you can kill a cow, but as per the sacrifices, if you are able to revive the life and able to give the new body to the cow, then you can perform that sacrifice. Sacrifice a cow in the cows, that is cow sacrifices, that can be killed. So that way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives, and then Kazi he himself says that yes, whatever you said, it is right, but our Quran has emanated later on after the Vedic injunctions and after so many religions have come up, and it has come up later on. It has got some kind of the loopholes as well. It is not perfect, so it cannot stand in front of the hetu and vadana, reason and arguments. It cannot stand. If Vedic injunctions come, it cannot stand in front of the Vedic injunctions. Then, but however, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says Gaurahari, but I have to accept this Quran as my scripture because I belong to that religion. So he admit that one, because it has come because there are so many hetu and reasons. That hetu means reasons and vadana is argument. Hetu and vadana. So nothing can stand in front of the Vedic injunctions. All things have emanated later on because they have got, everything has got some kind of the loopholes. So this Chand Kaji has admitted that one. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was glorified, and then everyone were happy. But at the time, Chand Kaji also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Chand Kaji, so previously you have disturbed our Sankirtana movement. Now you have not stopped it. And why so? Then Kaji, he mentioned that Lord Narasimhadev has come and he tried to pierce my heart. But because I did not go far beyond, just only broke only the mridanga, but I did not go far, so he left me with the life. And then Kaji showed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in front of all the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu associates that there are the scratches, the nail scratches on top of his chest. Everyone were amazed that Narasimhadev has come and warned Chand Kaji. So that is the okay, just going to this conception. This is the conception of the caste system is always based on the quality and not the qualification of a birth. This is about the principle of the Kshatriyas. And here again, birth is extraneous consideration, and it is not the main feature of the orders and divisions. This Varnashrama Dharma is meant for the elevation oneself onto the transcendental platform, mukti, or the liberation, or going back to Godhead. One has to execute. Otherwise, Janma Aishwarya Surasribihi Edamana Madahuma Naivahrati Abidatum Vaitwama Kinchana Gocharam. The Lord will not be pleased by but the Janma Aishwarya Sruta Sribihi Edamana Madahuman Naivarhati. These are not the qualifications. Either birth, the opulence, or the good education, or having good knowledge. This is not the qualification. He is the Twamakinchana Gocharam, who have got humbleness, humble and meekness. Akinchana, who does not have such kind of conceptions. And this is that is Trunadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnana. So in that way, Lord will be pleased. That way one can make his life perfect. So here that qualities will come from the Varnashrama Dharma. That is the basis. Again, there is again structure of Varnashrama, who is levels of people in the Varnashrama Dharma. Tato Varnasha Chatvarah Brahmaneshu api Uttamah Brahmaneshu api Vedajno Yaddajno Abhichikah Tatah. So out of the Varnashrama Dharma, Brahmanas are the best. Out of the Brahmanas, who knows the Vedas, he is the best. And then who understands, who are out of studying the Vedas, who understands the Vedas, the inner meaning of the Vedas, he is the best. Yaddajno Abhichikah Tatah. Addajat Samsayajjata. Addajat Samsayat, who is able to explain that meaning of the Vedas, he is the best than him, who knows the meaning of the Vedas. And better than him, Shreyan Swadharma Kurut, who is actually practicing those Varnashma Dharma, that qualities, he is the better than him. And then Mukta Sangaha Tato Bhuyan, better than him who has renounced those all kinds of dharmas. Mukta Sangaha Tato Bhuyan, and Adogda Dharmamatmanaha, better than him, even though renounced person is the devotee, Adogda Dharmamatmanaha, who has surrendered himself unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tasmad Maya Arpita Ashesha Kriya Dhatma Nirantaraha. मयि मयि अर्पितात्मनः पुंसो मयि संन्यस्तकर्मणः त न पश्यामि परं भूतम् अकर्तुः समदर्शनान्. He is the topmost person who is the devotee of the Krishna. That also Krishna mentioned, that is said by Kapila Bhagavan to Devahuti Mata. And also Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantratmana shraddhavan bhajite yomam sameyukta tamo matah. The devotee is always the topmost. That is the purpose of this Varnashrama Dharma. So this Varnashrama Dharma, Krishna has described here in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Brahmana Kshatri Visham Sudranam Cha Parantapa Karmani Prabhibhaktani Swabhava Prabhavaihi Gunaihi, based on the Swabhava Prabhavaihi Gunaihi. What are they? One is the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya Sudra. Brahmana's qualities are described. Samodamah tapah saucham kshantir adhvam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma subhavajam. These are the 9 qualities for the Brahmanas. Samaha, damaha, tapaha, saucham, kshantihi, arjvam, and jnanam vijnanam astikyam. These are the, so the 4 and 2 and then 3. It's totally 9 qualities for them. This is the Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. This is Swabhava by nature. And the next is the Kshatriyas. Sauryam te yudh siddhaksham yudhe cha api apalayanam danam ishwar bhavasya kshatram karma swabhavajam. These are the qualities of the Sauryam is heroism. Teja is the power. Dhrutihi is the determination. Dhaksham is the resourcefulness. Yuddhecha api apalayanam. In the battlefield, one should not be apalayanam. He should not flee from the battle. Danam, he has got a charity. And Ishvara Bhavasya. Ishvara Bhavasya is the of the leadership. Bhava is that nature. Kshatram Karma Subhavajam. These are the qualities of a Kshatriya. And then Krishi Gorakshavanijam Vaishya Karma Subhavajam. This is Krishi Goraksha, protecting the cows and also performing this cultivation of the land and also performing business. These 3 qualities, Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijyam. These are 3 qualities of the Vaishyas. And then for the Sutras, only 1 quality, that is Paricharyatmakam Karma. They are to be serving the other top 3 Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya. Sudrasyapi Subhavajam. These are the qualities of the Vaishya and Sudra and Kshatriya and Brahmana. So that Prabhupada is mentioning here. And it is understood that all such qualifications are needed before one can be designated as belonging to a particular group. If one does not fall into this one of these group, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra and Brahmanas, then he is the Panchama or Yavanas and so many other categories of the people, they fall into Panchama category. Okay, and then Lord Vishnu is always mentioned as the Purusha in all the Vedic scriptures. Sometimes the living entities are also mentioned as Purushas. So how Purusha is the nature of Purusha is the dominating nature. And Prakriti is the serving nature. So Prakriti accommodates all kinds of facilities for the Purusha to enjoy. That is the nature. So and here when Krishna says Maya Jakchena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam, and Krishna says that Gatir Bhatta Prabhu Sakshi, I am the Bhatta as well. And Pitahamasya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamahaha Ejjam Pavitra Bhuankaraha Ruksame Jurevacha. I am the only Purusha. If we see all these things, Krishna is the only Purusha. But here, because we have come to this material body and we have got a tendency to experience and enjoy, that is sometimes we are also called Purusha. But we belong to the Para Prakriti. Aparemita Swanyam Viddhime Param Prakritim. Jiva Bhota Mahabhaho Edham Dharite Jagat. The living entities come here taking the material bodies and trying to enjoy. But here, in that enjoying nature is the Purusha nature. And although they are essentially Purusha Shakti or Parashakti or Para Prakriti, the superior energy of the Purusha, illusioned by the external potency of Purusha, the Lord, the living entities falsely think of themselves as the Purusha, although they actually have no qualifications. And here we have Purusha means enjoying nature, but we cannot enjoy anything perfectly. But what we can eat, hardly few chapatis and hardly few hours of sleep, not more than that. We do not have much qualifications, but we have got nature. That's why we have fallen down to this material world. Manasastani indriyani prakrutistani karshati. We are struggling for the existence. But the Lord has the power to protect. Of the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, the first has the power to create, the second has the power to protect, and the third has the power to destroy. So these are the Gunavataras of the Lord. The word Purusha is significant in this verse because Kshatriyas are expected to represent the Purusha Lord in giving protection to the Prajas. One should be this is the Pitruvan Ranjayan Prajaha. Just one has to protect the people just like a father. This is Apipala Dharmarajaha Pitruvad Ranjayan Prajaha. Nispruhaha Sarvakamebhyaha Krishna Padanu Sevaya Krishna. So he is always thinking of the Krishna's devotional service to Krishna. This is about the Yudhishthira. So he was ruling his subjects just like a father. So this is and that here Prabhupada is giving this one power to protection. That is the Vishnu. And who represents Vishnu? These are the kings. We are talking about the Kshatriyas. And Kshatriyas are expected to represent Purusha Lord in giving protection to the Prajas. This is Pitruvan Rajan Prajaha. So when the king is like that, looking after his subjects, like not only the humans and all the all who are born in the land and water, like the animals, all these things, and the birds and cows, cats, dogs, everything, they are also subjects. They are born in the kingdom. They are therefore meant for both man and the animals. We have to give protection to everything. In the modern society, prajas are not protected from the hands of thieves and miscreants. This is the, again, condemnable thing. But so one has to understand the society and pray that real Kshatriyas to be ruling the countries and states. Okay, the modern democratic state, which has no Kshatriyas, is a government of the Vaishyas and Sudras, and not of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas as formerly. So all are Sudras, lower than the Sudras, Panchamas. Okay, so Maharaj Yudhishthira and his grandson Maharaja Parikshit were typical Kshatriya kings, for they gave protection to all men and animals. And when the personification of Kali attempted to kill a cow, Maharaja Parikshit at once prepared himself to kill the miscreant, and the personification of Kali was banished from his kingdom. So this one here, whenever Parikshit mentions that trying to punish Kali, he mentions the reasons as well. Why I'm trying to punish you? That because in my kingdom, all the Vishnu sacrifices yajnas and everyone follow the Varnashrama Dharma perfectly, worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you cannot stand in my kingdom. So, and then later on, he gives the place that wherever there is the intoxication, gambling, and also illicit association and meat eating is there. These four places, plus additionally, uh, one more place is the gold. The five places are given for the Kali. Wherever these five are existing, the Kali is always there. The goal is the place where there is excess money is there more than needed. It may not be actual gold or any form, either in the bank balance or any in terms of the assets, anything which is more than needed. That is where Kali existing. Okay, so that is the sign of Purusha. are the representative of Lord Vishnu. According to the Vedic civilization, a qualified Kshatriya monarch is given the respect of the Lord because he represents the Lord by giving protection to the prajas. He is the Tasmai Suklayate Namaha. A Kshatriya is a Sukla, a representative of the Vishnu. Okay, so in the modern people, the democrat or rulers, politicians, they cannot give any protection. That's why we needed the insurance, theft insurance, home insurance, so many insurances we needed. And we need to pay the money to all the insurances. At the end, we will left with the empty pocket. So this is the society of these Vaishyas and Sudras as the rulers, so-called general franchise. Okay, that is about the Kshatriyas. Bahubhyo avartata kshatram kshatriyaha tad anuratah. Yo jatah traite varnam paurushaha kantaka kshatat. Paurushaha kantaka kshatat. They are Kshatriyas. Okay, we shall move to the next verse. This is about the Vaishyas. विशो आवर्तन्त तस्य भूर्वोः लोकवृत्तिक लोकवृत्तिकरीर्विभोः विशो आवर्तन्त तस्य भूर्वोः लोकवृत्तिकरिः वृत्तकरीर्विभोः वैश्यासदुभयो वार्तां नृणां यः समवर्तयत् विशो आवर्तन्त तस्य भूर्वोः लोकवृत्तिकरीर्विभोः वैश्यः तदुद्भवो वार्तं नृणां यः समवर्तयत्. So when the means of living by the production and distribution, like the growing the crops and then distributing these crops and selling this kind of the business, grains. Vishu avartanta tasya burvoho. They are generated from the thighs of the Virat Rupa of the Lord. Lokavrittihi karir vibhoho. This is the Lokavrittihi, means of the livelihood, vibhoho of the Lord. Vaishya, they are called mercantile community. Tad budbhavo vartam, tad budbhavaha. So their orientation, vartam, means of living. Nrunam yaha samavartayat. So when such kind of activity is being carried out, then they are called Vaishyas. So this is the means of livelihood is generated, and also Vaishyas are generated. Quality and the person from the body of the Virat Rupa. So where they are generated from the thighs of the Lord. So translation, the means of livelihood of all persons, namely production of grains and the distribution to the prajas, was generated from the thighs of the Lord's gigantic form. The mercantile men who take charge of such execution are called Vaishyas. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So human society's means of living is clearly mentioned here as Visha or agriculture and the business of distributing agricultural products, which involves transport, banking, etc. Industry is an artificial means of livelihood. The large-scale industry especially is the source of all problems of society. And in the Bhagavad Gita also, duties of the Kshatriyas who are engaged in the Visha are stated as cow protection, agriculture, and business. These are the qualities of Vaishyas, but not the industry like artificial means of livelihood. And we have already discussed that the human being can safely depend on the cow and agricultural land for his livelihood. Okay. And then the exchange of produce by banking and transportation is branch of this type of living. The Vaishyas are divided into many subsections. Some of them are called Kshetri or landowners. Some are called Karshana or land tillers. Some of them are called Tilavanik or grain raisers. Some are called Gandhavanik or merchants in spices. And some are called Suvarnavanik or merchants in gold and banking. So the Brahmanas are the teachers and spiritual masters, and Kshatriyas protect the citizens from the hands of thieves and miscreants. Vaishyas are in charge of production and distribution. Sudras are the unintelligent class of men who cannot act independently in any of the above mentioned activities are meant for serving three higher castes for livelihood. So here, from the Vaishya's perspective, Prabhupada is giving how they are called. If one is the raising the crops, he is called Tilavanik, and raising the spices, he is Gandhavanik, and if he is a gold merchant, Suvarnavanik. Okay, likewise, there are some landowners as well. They are called Karshana, or the land tiller. Kshetri is the landowner, and land tillers are called Karshana, who are working in the fields. This is about the Vaishyas. And also further, formerly the Brahmanas were given all the necessities of life by the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas because they had no time to spend making a living. Kshatriyas would collect taxes from Vaishyas and Sudras, but the Brahmanas were exempt from paying income tax or land revenue. That system of human society was so nice that there was no political, social, and economic upheavals. The different castes or Varna classifications are therefore essential for maintaining a peaceful human society. So in the olden days, the Brahmanas, they're expert in different kinds of Vedic sciences. One may be Ayurveda, one may be astrology. So likewise, the different streams, and they used to go to village, and then they used to do the free service. But however, the people who are taking service from the Brahmanas, they give the donation or charity to the Brahmanas. In such a way, the Brahmanas are happy, and all the community, the society is happy. There was no problem at all the economic problem was solved. This is the Varnashrama Dharma. So easier. Even if we see some of the villages in India which are not yet completely affected by the influence of Kali, there we see the farmers, they are called the Kshetris. This is the Kshetri, or the landowners, farmers, and Karshana. They will keep some of the servants, and also once the grains are brought from the field, and also they do the business, distribute within the village, and sometimes they have got so many servants. One is the washerman servant, and there may be um, the comes is the like a um, goldsmith, tinsmith, and also the tinsmith, plumber, and also carpenter in a village. These are all existing castes. They work, and there is not actually money transactions. They will give if washerman comes and if he washes clothes for 1 month, and then he every day he in the evening he will give some kind of rice to that washerman for his livelihood, and at the end of the month he may give some clothes to him, but there was not actual money transactions. In such a way, people are depending. And whenever it comes to the festivals, those washermen, they will give some kind of special foods and such kind of things. There was not money transaction. It was so happy. Of course, I was also one of that person from that community. So, and whenever festivals comes and that celebrations are in the temple, all these communities come together uh, and then offer their services. Each community have got a different. One person is having um, the fire thing go behind the procession, having a stick and on top of that fire. So that kind of thing. So, and one person is doing the harmonium. It is a small compact harmonium, and one person is doing the mridanga thing. So from different community, they have got different kinds of instruments to perform, and they will bring all of their instruments. They do for free of cost. They do not have to get the money from the temple itself. So they serve it, and they finally they take the prasadam, and whatever the prasadam is left, and it is distributed to all the people who has participated. It was so perfect. That is the proper Varnashrama Dharma. Still, we see such kind of villages in the India. Of course, now it is being affected by these TVs and internet and so much so-called the latest education technology. Okay, this is about the Vaishyas, and it's about the Sudras. So Sudras, it is the serving capacity, and it is manifested from the legs of the Lord, and also Sudras are created to carry out that function. Okay, this verse is Padbhyam Bhagavato Jajñe Susrusha Dharma Siddhaye Tasyam Jatah Pura Sudhro Yadrutyat Tushyate Harehe Yadrutyat Tushyate Harihi, just to please the Hari. Tushyate Harihi Yadrutya, by their carrying out their activities. Padbhyam Bhagavato Jajñe, in the legs Bhagavato of the Lord, Jajñe, they were manifested. Susrusha Dharma Siddhaye, Susrusha is the service, Dharma Siddhaye is the in the matter of occupational duty, Dharma Siddhaye. Just by serving, they will make their life perfect. Susrusha Dharma Siddhaye. Tasyam Jatah Pura Sudhro. And they were created. Tasyam Sudra, these are servitors. Tasyam Jatah Pura Sudhro. Where is that one? Tasyam, in that Jatah, they are being generated. Pura Sudraha. Formerly, the Sudraha, they are called servitors. Yadbhrutya Tusyate Harihi, just by carrying out their serving capacity, they please the Lord. So this is the, even though the Brahmanas are speaking to the Sudras and chastising, if Sudras are not opposing the Sudras, they never use it to oppose the Brahmanas, they never use to harm the Brahmanas, they never touch the property of the Brahmanas. So this is the Varnashram Dharma. Just by carrying out that service, they please the Lord. So satisfied that. And this is Sambhodayanti Aham Iva Aham Upakutastaihi. The Lord will be very attracted to such kind of people who following the Dharma. The Lord says that Sambhodayanti Aham Iva Aham Upakutastaihi. If Brahmanas are speaking, even though it is harsh words, and when he is with smiling face and taking those words just like the Lord is speaking from the mouth of the Brahmanas, such kind of people are attracting the heart of the Lord. So that is, the Lord says directly to the Kumaras, when the Kumaras went to Vaikuntha, it is glories of the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. So indirectly, he was also glorifying Jaya and Vijaya as well. So saying that even the Jaya and Vijaya, they did unknowingly, they committed a mistake, but they did not even say a single word opposite to the Kumaras. That's why he was glorifying Jaya and Vijaya indirectly. But here in the Varnashram Dharma, everyone respect the top upper Varnas. Okay, so purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So translation. So therefore, service was manifested from the legs of the personality of Godhead for the sake of perfecting the religious function, situated on the legs or the Sudras, who satisfy the Lord by service. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Service, service is the real constitutional occupation of all living entities. The living entities are meant to render service to the Lord, and they can attain religious perfection by this service attitude. This is the Swanishtasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Just by rendering service, the Lord will be pleased. Atah Pumbidvishreshta Varnashrami Vibhagashaha Sunistasya Dharmasya. Just following their duty, Lord will be very pleased. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. They will attain the perfection. One cannot attain religious perfection simply by speculating to attain theoretical knowledge. One has to render the service. This is तथा परिचात्म समाधि योग भले निचित्वा प्रकृतिम बलिष्ठां त्वामेव धीराः पुरुषं विशन्ति. So this is said by who is that? Yeah, demigods are praying to the Supreme Lord. Just by rendering service unto the Lord, they will attain the perfection. Whereas some people, they try to control all the senses and body and pranayama hidahe doshan dharana vishakil vishan. So likewise, when they are doing like the controlling senses, but whereas the devotees just simply rendering their service to the Lord, simply they will attain the perfection. This is devotional service. So this is but they have no information of the activities of the soul after being liberated by knowledge. It is said that persons who only mentally speculate to know things as they are and who do not engage in the transcendent loving service of the Lord are simply wasting their time. They are simply wasting their time. One has to put all the knowledge into activities. We know that we are the servants of the Supreme. Mamayvaamsha jiva loke jiva bhotaha sanatanaha. Manasastani indriyani prakriti stani karshati. We are part and parcel of the whole, the Supreme Lord. What is our capacity? We have to render service. That is the Madjanma Palabidam Madhukaita Bhare Mad Prardhaniya. This is Kulashekar Alvar says, Tad Brutya Brutya Paricharaka Brutya Brutya Brutyasya Brut Itimam Smara Lokanadam. This is the Madjanma Palamidam Madhukaita Bhare. Madjanma Palamidam. This is the complete fructification of the human life. Edat Pradhaniya Madhanugraha Yesha Eva. Oh my dear Lord, please give me that devotional service unto me. That way, he is asking, rendering service to the Supreme Lord, loving service of the Lord. Otherwise, it is waste of their time. So it is clearly said here that the principle of service was generated from the legs of the Lord for the sake of perfecting the religious process. So, but this transcendental service is different from the idea of service in the material world. But however, here, the Sudras have got a very good opportunity because they're always trying to serve the upper caste. It is not very difficult for them to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are in the same mood. So they can easily carry out that activity to the Supreme Lord. This is Sudharma Charanam Sekya Vidharma Chanivattanam. So this Swadharmacharanam, by carrying out their activities, when they link to the Supreme Lord, change the conception of their consciousness, then it will become a devotional service. It is very easy for the Sudras to render service. Okay, in the material world, no one wants to be a servant. Everyone wants to become master because false mastership is the basic disease of the condition. So that's why Amayo Yasha Bhotanam Jaitayena Surata. This is the disease. That's why everyone comes to this material world and take material body and engage in the karmic activities, fruitive activities. Krupanaha palahetavaha. They try to enjoy their fruits of their actions. So, but tadevihi amayam dravyam na punati chikichitam. When they carry out their same activities in the devotional service of the Lord, of course, their livelihood is also be preserved. But it will become that fruitive activities that disease will become the same activity, whichever is causing the disease, the same activity will become a medicine to that person. The conditioned soul in the material world wants to lord it over others. This is the natural tendency. If we are speaking to one particular person, the so-called people of this material world, they are the gentlemen. They are poisoned snakes and dressed in the disguise of a gentleman. Prabhupada mentions that we need to be very careful. So here, if someone is speaking to us, that means they wanted to take money from our pocket. But they say that we are here to serve you, help you, like that. They say simply. But actually, the real purpose is how to take the money out of your pocket. So this is how people are being cheated and cheaters. The conditioned soul in the material world wants to lord it over others. Illusioned by external energy of the Lord, he is forced to become servant of the material world. And that is the real position of the conditioned soul. He is always struggling. So even though कार्य कारण कर्तृत्वे ज्ञान द्रव्य ज्ञान क्रियाश्रयाः बध्नन्ति निचिदा मुक्तुम मायिनं पुरुषं गुणाः. Even though he is the servant of the Lord, he comes here. Badnanti nichida muktam. He has got particular education, enough amount and enough house. Now what is it? I have to carry out these particular duties now. I have to work for this multinational companies and corporate companies. I need to do the business. This is karya. This is the dravya jnana kriya asrayaha badnanti nichida muktam mayinam purusham gunaha. By these activities, he is always conditioned because he is not engaging in the service of the Lord. So this is again kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavaha, because that person, the desire to enjoy, it is deeply rooted and in the heart, and then because of that desire, he has got mind, intelligence, and ego that is covering by the material body, number of layers. but outside he is posing a different things. This is he will be forced to act according to the nature he has acquired if he is not acting in Krishna consciousness. The last snare of the illusory or external energy is the conception of becoming one with the Lord, and due to this conception, the illusion soul remains in the bondage of material energy, falsely thinking himself a liberated soul and as good as Narayana. This is illusion. It is making a mistake. Yenya Arvindaksha Vimukta Maninaha Tvayashta Bhavad Avishuddha Buddhayaha. Avishuddha Buddhaya. It is the impure intelligence. Avishuddha Buddhayaha. Aruhya Kurichena Param Padam Tataha Padantyadaha Anadruta Yushmadangaraya. So unnecessarily they think that they have become uh, the Narayana, as good as Narayana. But actually, that is the false thinking. Aruhya Kuruchirena Param Padam Tataha. Even though they perform so many austerities and penances, it is wonderful, but Patantyadaha, they fall down. Because Anadruta Ishmadangrayaha, they make mistakes at the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the misconceptions, illusion souls, or Mayavadis. It is actually better to be Sudra than to be Brahmana and not develop the service attitude because that attitude alone satisfies the Lord. See here, Prabhupada is mentioning that statement. That service attitude alone satisfies the Lord. That's why better to be a Sudra. How beautiful it is. So every living being, even if he be a Brahmana by qualification, must take to the transcendental service of the Lord. Both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam support that service, support that the service attitude is the perfection of the living entity. A Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra can perfect his occupational duties only by rendering service unto the Lord. This is Twam Eva Diraha Purusham, Twam Eva Diraha, that is the Sevaya, just by Sevaya. By rendering service, they enter into the spiritual abode of the Lord. This is Matsevaya Pritante Salokyadi Chetastayam. Nechayanti Sevaya Punaha Kutonyat Kaliplutam. In such a way, that is, devotees, they do not enter into these four different kinds of liberations. Salokyadi Chetastayam. Nechayanti Sevaya Punaha. Na Ichayanti, they do not like Sevaya Punaha until complete their devotional service to the Lord. Then only they will enter. If they are not satisfied, again if they will, they will come again, render service to the Lord, and then go back. Nechayanti sevya purnaha kutonyat kaliplutam. Apart from these four things itself, they do not like what to speak of anything else. Kutonyat kaliplutam, all about these material things which are in the 14 planetary systems. That is not very intelligent. If anyone who wanted to go within the 14 planet systems up to Brahma Loka, that is not very intelligent. And here, a Brahmana is supposed to know this fact due to the perfection in the Vedic wisdom. And other sections are supposed to follow the direction of the Brahmana Vaishnava. This is the Brahmana Vaishnava. He is the topmost. Knowing this head this is the way Vedasya sarvairahameva vedjo vedanta krut veda videva chaham. So who knows that thing is called Brahmana. And then that is Brahmana Vaishnava. One who is Brahmana by qualification and a Vaishnava by action. So this is the knowledge and action activity. That will make the entire society perfect in regard to the order of social construction. See, a disordered society cannot satisfy either the members of the society or the Lord. Even if one is not a perfect Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra, but takes the service of the Lord, not caring for the perfection of his social position, he becomes a perfect human being simply by developing the attitude of service to the Supreme Lord. Just becoming a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He will become perfect. Okay, so this is very beautiful purport and going through here. And Maitri is saying Prabhupada is explaining very beautifully here about the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras. Sudras are very fortunate, to be honest, because they have got a tendency to serve that can be simply transferred to the Lord easily if they desire, if they will. Then devotional service will be very, very easy for them. Okay, so I stop here and I request dear devotees, if you have got any questions or you wanted to share anything on this one, kindly ask or kindly share. Hare Krishna. Of course, I took a few minutes more. Apologies. Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no questions or no sharings, then we shall conclude our session for tonight. And see you later on. I shall conclude. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनन्तकोटिवैष्णववृन्द की
जय
श्रील प्रभुपाद की
की जय
Have a Krishna conscious day, conscious night, everyone.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the nice class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.